Good Wednesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go ahead and talk about the weather for your Wednesday evening going into your future. We're going to have some stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. But first, before we get into that, if you have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. Right now, we have around a good. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. We have around a good. Let me dismiss this. Get this up out of here. There we go. Alright, we've had around a good 6 people tune in, and we have 5 likes so far, so we're on like a good amount of people. So far close to everybody's hit the like button, but if you have not hit the like button yet, go ahead and do so. Also hit the subscribe button. We right now, I believe, are at 667 subscribers, trying to get to that main goal of 700. We are 33 away. 33 away. Now 668, so now we're 32 away from that main goal of 700 subscribers. That's it, 32. You know 32 people. You may not have even shared it to 32 people. Just go on and share it to somebody that you know so they can go on and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the share button. Like I said, friends, family, acquaintances, people that you don't even talk to like that, anybody, does not matter. Also, in better news, it's Wednesday, meaning that we're halfway through the week. Yes, we made it all the way through into Wednesday, meaning, like I said, we're halfway done with the week. We just have Thursday and Friday left to go, and we will be at the weekend. So, what are we going to talk about tonight? What's on tap for tonight? So, obviously, first off, we will be talking about the weather for tonight. We'll talk about current weather. We'll talk about the weather for tomorrow, and then as well as the weather for long-term future, short-term future. And then what's on tap for tonight? The main topics: brief, mild, dry period midweek before we have a major shift going into this weekend. High confidence pattern for a significant winter storm this weekend, and then a prolonged, dangerous cold follows the storm. So, I think that's something that people may not be talking about as much. They might be just talking about the snow, ice, all that kind of stuff. But the cold that follows along behind it as well is something that we need to watch out for. So let's go on and talk about what's currently going on. If we go and look at the radar right now, you can already see that we have some activity going on, but not maybe like the kind of activity that you're thinking of. I mean, in terms of a watch right now, we have a winter storm watch right now out for the upstate of South Carolina from Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney, York, Rock Hill, Pageland. Also going on down there near Greenwood. Why? Well, because it says heavy mixed precipitation is possible. Total snow and sleet accumulations between 1 to 6 inches, and ice accumulation between 4/10 of an inch and 1 inch possible. And so that's the main thing right here. The timing for it, they're saying right now, from Saturday morning through Monday afternoon, significant ice accumulations on power lines, tree limbs may cause widespread and long-lasting power outages. Ice and snow-covered roadways will be treacherous and impassable. And it says widespread power outages are likely due to the weight of the ice and the snow on the tree limbs and power lines. The outages could last for days in some areas. So that's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about now. Into the upstate of South Carolina, because the upstate definitely is probably going to be the most hit area by this potential winter storm. Now, we do also have some apparent convection going on over here near Pickens, South Carolina as well, over here just to the west of it. So just a little showery, a little drizzle going on over there. But just look how much winter storm watches we have. That goes all the way throughout, from Kansas to New Mexico to Texas to Louisiana to North Carolina to Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. All of these areas all receiving some winter storm watches right now. But we're going to go in and turn that off. Maybe turn that off. Okay, I turned it off, but it's still there for some reason, so I have no idea why. But let's go in and talk about what's going on throughout the entire U.S. in terms of convection. Well, right now, some rainfall definitely going on over here inside of Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee, North Carolina, going on over there inside of Kentucky and West Virginia. Maybe even some rainfall in Louisiana, going off the Gulf Coast, Florida, getting on some rainfall. Some rainfall going on over here in California. This is where our potential winter storm maker is over here. The low pressure is over here, and it's causing now some rainfall activity over here in California. Snowfall ongoing over here inside of the north and east, and then some snowfall also going on over here inside of the Midwest and the upper Midwest. Now, what about our cloud cover? Well, cloud cover right now seems to be actually more on the heavier side. So that's what we're looking at now. All regions are receiving cloud cover. Even if we go into cloud cover for the future and we go throughout tonight, it looks like for the most part that cloud cover will stay throughout the overnight hours going into tomorrow morning. This is 7 o'clock in the morning, and we still have mostly cloudy skies. We go into around 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, 12 p.m., and we start to see some clearing, like in the low country, maybe even down there in the southern Midlands, over there inside of the PD area potentially as well. And so we do also have some cloud cover up there inside of the upstate in the Midlands. That's where the main amount of cloud cover is. We continue all the way to 8 p.m. tomorrow, 9 p.m., 10 o'clock, and then we still have that main cloud cover activity going on up there inside the very far upstate and the Midlands, while the low country, Grand Strand areas, get some breaks. In fact, if you look along like the coastal low country area, a lot of that area does not really get too much cloud cover for a good amount of time. Then as we move through into Friday morning, this is 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, cloud cover really making its way throughout the state, even as you all the way to 7 o'clock p.m. on Friday. We're still mostly cloudy. Now, as we go in and talk about our current temperatures right now, we have around a good 44 in Somerville, 49 in Charleston, and 48 in Beaufort, 50 Hilton Head Island, and 46 in Georgetown, 48 in Melrose Inlet, as well as around a good 48 inside of Myrtle Beach, 44 in Conway, and 48 in North Myrtle Beach, 43 in Orangeburg, and 44 in Aiken, 41 in Columbia, and 44 inside of Sumter, 42 Hartsfield, Lugoff, Florence, 39 Lancaster, and 40 in Newbury, 41 in Greenwood, and 42 in Lawrence, 43 Anderson and Clemson, and 41 also inside of Greenville, 41 in Spartanburg, and 39 Gaffney, 35 York, and Rock Hill. Now, what about your air quality? Air quality as we go into today, really or in tonight, current. For the most part, everyone's inside the good category. There's a couple of moderates out, Florence, Columbia, Augusta, but nothing really too unhealthy. What about for your low temperatures for tonight? Low temperatures tonight, we have around a good 36 over there inside of Greenville, 35 Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Lawrence, and it just looks like the mid to upper 30s for a lot of the upstate. Midlands, same thing, trying to get to that mid to upper 30s, maybe even some low 40s for the southern Midlands. PD area, 39 Florence, Sumter, 38 Kingstree. And then once you get towards like that Grand Strand area, you start to get really up into the 40s. 42 in Georgetown, 44 in Myrtle Beach, 41 over there inside of Walterboro, 42 in inside of Moncks Corner, and then you have around 46 to 49-ish along that coastal area from Charleston over into Hilton Head Island. And somebody probably will stay at the 50-degree range, especially down there, possibly near that direct coastal area. High temperatures for tomorrow. You have around a good 54 inside of Greenville, 55 in Spartanburg, and 56 in Rock Hill, 54 in Lawrence, and 56 in Newbury, 57 in Winsboro, 62 in Columbia, 61 in Camden, and 64 in Sumter, 62 in Florence, and 64 in Kingstree, 65 in Orangeburg, and 65 in Barnwell, 67 inside of Walterboro, and 66 Moncks Corner, 65 Charleston, and 66 in Hilton Head Island, and 62 in Myrtle Beach. So it looks like for the most part, upstate, trying to get to that mid to upper 50s. Going into like the Midlands and then the PD, the Grand Strand areas, trying to get into the 60s, the low country, trying to get to the mid to upper 60s. And somebody potentially could even get it up to close to 70. Rainfall as we go into tonight, for the most part, it looks like, for the most part, that we are just going to continue to have a good amount of rainfall potentially possible up there in the upstate. We just saw, a little drizzle, little shower going on over there near Pickens, 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch over there, possible for a good amount of the upstate from Greenville to Anderson to Lawrence, Greenwood, Newbury, Winsboro. And somebody might even get around a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch as we go into tonight. Now, that's in terms of total precipitation. So that includes all, total precipitation includes all rainfall, snowfall, sleet, ice, anything like that. But for right now, I think that's, this probably is not snow or ice or anything like that. This is probably most likely just some rainfall. Now, as we go into the crazy score for tonight, we're at a 15. One of the calmest scores that we've seen in a good minute since, before we started getting those freezing temperatures all the way down to around 20 degrees or so. And for the most part, it looks like that we're just right here at a 15, right on the cusp of getting into the mild category. And so I think the reason why, well, cloudy. It's going to be a bit cloudy out there. And so that's the main reason why we pushed our way up all the way to 15, all the way up towards 15. And so, we're not looking for any sort of freezing temperatures or anything like that. We're not looking for any sort of black ice or anything like that. Just some increasing clouds, calm to very light winds, but no hazards really, except for that winter storm watch, but that's just a watch. As we go into the SPC outlook, no thunderstorms tonight, tomorrow, and Friday. So we're all good there. Fire weather, excessive rainfall, all of that is not expected at this time. So let's go in now and look at the models. We're going to start off with the HRRR first. And we're going to start off with the short-term future. Then we'll get towards the long-term future. So we're going to start off at 9 o'clock p.m. As we go on and push this forward, you can see for the most part, and as you go on and continue to push this forward, you can see that pretty much just rainfall tries to move its way throughout the state, but it's not quite making its way there. Not quite making its way there. Even as you get to around 3 to 4 to 5 a.m., you start to see some drizzles going on throughout the state. But like I said, nothing really too crazy. Even as you get to around 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, you have some rainfall moving on up there inside of the very far upstate. Even over there inside of the PD area over there, you have some little light drizzle activity going on, but nothing too crazy tomorrow morning. As you go on all the way through to noon to 1 o'clock p.m., rainfall over there inside of the upstate. And then as you go over into 4 o'clock p.m. tomorrow, rainfall still going on up there. We move on to the evening to the nighttime hours of the 22nd, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 a.m., and just continuing to see rainfall. Now, it doesn't look the most heavy, more like on like the heavy side. It's more on the light side. So more on the light side here. So it looks like that we are just going to see just some light rainfall throughout the day. Seems like as we go into tomorrow, especially throughout the upstate and potentially the PD and the Midland areas as well. Low country stays on the drier side. Then as you get into the morning, right here 7 a.m. of Friday, we start to see some more rainfall moving its way through from the upstate into the PD area. And then as you go into 7 o'clock p.m. into Friday, it looks like just some more rainfall going into the state. And so it just shows just a rainy next 2 days or so, rainy next 48 hours or so. But it's not the heaviest. It's just the same thing, just rainfall going over the same areas over and over and over and over again. If you want to track this forward, make sure you pay attention to that time up there as I'm rolling it backwards and forwards. You can just see the pattern with it as you just go in and push it through. And it makes it into the low country for a little bit. I see down there around like 10 a.m. on Friday, maybe going to the afternoon on Friday as well, but nothing too crazy. Now, in terms for totals from the HRRR, for the most part, it says around a good amount, around like a good half an inch to potentially an isolated inch, but I think more likely around like 3/4 of an inch possible for a lot of these areas. And so I think that for right now we're just gonna have to continue just to watch and see how these showers play out as they move their way into the state going into tonight, tomorrow, and then as you go into Friday. So that's it in terms for the short-term future. Not really too much for me to say here, except for we're just going to see a good amount of light. Maybe some isolated moderate spots, but light rainfall throughout primarily the upstate, the Midlands, and the PD area as we move throughout the next 48 hours. Now, what about for the long term? This is what most people are talking about. If we go on and move this forward all the way through, here we go, starting off at 7 o'clock p.m. Remember, this is one model run. Things will definitely change. But you're starting off here at 7 o'clock p.m. You have sleet going on up there inside of the very far upstate, going on all the way into the midland areas. You have freezing rain going on in parts of the low country, rainfall as well, kind of mixed in with that. And then as you go all the way to 1 a.m., a little dry spot that we have that goes all the way into the low country over into like the Grand Strand areas and then even into southern Georgia and Florida. I mean, just look at how dry it is throughout this region. While up there inside of the very far upstate and even inside the Midlands, you have sleet and freezing rainfall. It intensifies a little bit. You're not seeing any snowfall right now, though. It just seems like mostly just freezing rain. And then as you go to 1 a.m. to 7 a.m., then you finally start to see some snowfall finally inside of the upper half of the state. But one area definitely was missed out on this run. If we go ahead and look at the actual snow totals right now, total snowfall. Good amount of rain. I mean, good amount of snowfall that you see here. Good amount of snowfall. I mean, you see 23 inches, like I said. I don't know if that's all going to happen, but you see 23 up there inside of the very far upstate, 17 over there near Spartanburg, 20 over there, 20 inches over there near Augusta, Greenwood, 18 over here near Columbia, 11 near kind of close to Florence. But if you want to take an even better look at it, if we go into the pivotal weather one real quick, and we go and look at the GFS, we go on to the forecast loop, and we move all the way through into total snowfall, and we're going to look at the southeast. Here we go right here. As you go in and go all the way through into like the next like 80-ish hours or so, going into like 135 hours or so. I mean, just look at the snowfall right here that we see. Now, this right here is the 18Z. Let me go back real quick, because that is also the 18Z. That's interesting. Hold on, let me go in. Yeah, that's the same thing right there. This is kind of interesting to see, because you can see on this one, on this website, it shows a bunch of snowfall, but then if you go on to this one, it doesn't show that much at all. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but what I do know is because I think that's still the same thing. If we go over here to the 12Z, yeah, that's different. We go over to the 60, yeah, that's different. To the 18Z, I think it just might just be something with their websites. I'm not quite sure, but if we continue our way forward, I mean, you see all the snowfall that we get right over here. I think more than likely, I think that this one's most likely correct in terms of totals, because the other one that showed around a good 23. This is weird. I've never seen this before. But right here, we start off 183-ish hours out or so. You see like a good like 3 inches up here inside of the upstate, according to this one. 1 inch is over here near the Anderson area, and then you have 0.6 of an inch over here near Columbia. If we go back an hour as well and see this one doesn't show anything. Does not show anything at all. If I go back to this one, because I guess for some reason both of them are different, and we go back to the snowfall rates, we go over into the 12Z instead, you see how it kind of took a little bit of a step back. If we go back, this is what yesterday's looked like. Yesterday's was a lot more on the higher end. We go into today's, definitely downtrended a little bit. But I think that this one was more maybe just like a little anomalous one, just because showing a good amount of like a 25 inches of snowfall. Like I said, I don't know if all that's going to happen, but what I do know is if it's there, it's possible. If it's there, it is possible. So this is what it's looking like right now in terms of snowfall rates, even if we go on into freezing rain as well. If I go on and look at the total freezing rain outlook, and we go on and push this forward, you can definitely see a good amount of freezing rain. I mean, you're seeing around like a good 0.27 inches over here. close, like in the low country, in some spots, half an inch. I see over here in the low country, I see an inch over there near Sumter, 0.7 near Columbia, 1.32 in Augusta. You see around 0.54 near Myrtle Beach, point around 6.6 in Greenville, 7.8 inside of Anderson. And so, like I said, I still think that ice is going to be the main part of the storm. For now, things can change, but for right now, the models are saying that ice is going to be the main part of the storm. Not really in terms for snowfall. So we'll continue to look at it. We'll continue to see what happens, even if we go into the newer one as well, because we can also go and look at the newer one for the AT&Z and see what it says. But it says a lot more of a higher end risk, 2.19 inside of Columbia, 1.89 over here inside of over here near Sumter, 0.7 over here inside of Myrtle Beach. It shows nothing for pretty much the coastal low country areas at all. And so that's also another scenario that we're going to have to look at as well, is that there might be some areas that might not even see any sort of winter precipitation. So all of that could happen. There could be some areas that might not see any at all. So what about the Euro, though? What does the European model say? Well, the European one, you can only go in and look at snowfall for it unless I pay for it. But if you go over here back towards the models, we're going to go to the Euro right now. And if you go and push this forward, it shows a good amount of ice going on over there outside of the upstate, the Midlands, but does not show that much. It shows rainfall for the rest. Does not show that much. So I do think that this one right here, I've seen some people saying that they think that this might be an outlier. They think that the GFS one might be a bit of an outlier. And you might be asking, well, why in the world right here are these models so still kind of not too much in agreement with each other? And why in the world are they showing not a lot of ice or snow for an area? Well, it's all in the positioning of the low pressure. Right here, you have the low pressure over here inside of Alabama. If you want snowfall, or something like that, that has to be further down south. The more north that it goes, the more chance that we get this rain instead. So, for example, you see this one kind of just rides up the Appalachian Mountains and then kind of goes out like that. What does the GFS do? The GFS goes on. It has that low pressure all the way down under the Appalachian Mountains, more going towards the coastal areas. Like you can see it down here, all the way down here near Florida. And so that's something that we're gonna have to look out for. There is just the positioning of the low pressure, just as we go down through the next 60 hours or so. So that positioning of that low pressure is going to be very, very important to see who gets what and what's the timing for it and all that kind of stuff. But for right now, the models still are so off right now. This has been absolute headache for a lot of people to forecast. Even if we go back into the 12-kilometer model for the NAM 12, this one does have rainfall, ice, and sleet for it. But this only goes 45 hours out or so, so we can't really look too much at that. But if you go over here, this one goes 84 hours out, shows just sleet going on over here inside of the very far upstate, and then also inside of the Midlands and the Western PD area as well. But that's only, like I said, 84 hours out. If you go over, I think there might be the FV3 one as well. This one might be a little bit too far. I think it is a little bit too far. NAM 3-kilometer probably would be too far as well. Yeah, too far. But what does the total say in terms for the Euro in terms for snowfall rates? Well, right now it looks like that it is kind of just at barely anything. Barely anything at all. If we go all the way through Monday, Tuesday, shows like nothing over here for a good amount of the state, if not almost all the state, except for this little area up there inside of the very far upstate. But other than that, it just looks like that kind of just completely whiffs on the snowfall down here throughout the state. And so now I did have like a little chart that I had that showed how many days out we are, what would we be looking for at that time. And so if we go on and check out the days real quick, right here we are around like a good 3 to 5 days out or so, because we have today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe some people may say Monday going into Tuesday. Um, but around 3 to 5 days out, we technically would be looking to see, the timing and the storm type. Is it snow? Is it sleet? Or is it ice? That's what we'd be looking at right now at this time frame out. But like I said, all models are just not in agreement with each other at this time. And so they all are just one saying snow over here, one saying snow over here, so one's not even saying there's going to be no snow at all inside of these areas. And so I think for right now that we still are kind of like we're more like 5 to 7 days out instead, because we're still trying to see, is it trending up? Is it trending down? What's it saying in terms of totals? What's the low pressure doing? And it is a favorable pattern. It is definitely a favorable pattern for us, but it's just, will it execute like we want it to? But that's it in terms of the Euro GFS. We can go in and look at the other two as well, even though I think one of them does not have any sort of sleet or freezing rain aspect to it. But we can go in and check them out, see what they got. I think it is the CMC. CMC has both. So the CMC right here shows around a good amount of freezing rainfall, a good amount of sleet as well going on over here inside of the upstate, going into like the Midlands, but bringing rainfall for the Grand Strand and the Low Country areas. And then as you go into the Icon, I think the Icon was the one. Yeah, Icon does not have it, but it shows a good amount of rainfall, probably sleet, and as well as ice, but still not showing a whole bunch of snowfall either. And so I just want to go in and show you just the comparison. I mean, this is what we were looking at today. I mean, look at where we were a couple of days ago, what this thing was even looking like. Just looking like a bunch of rainfall. And then we had like some snow, we had some freezing rain. This is what we were looking at a couple of days ago. Right here, I believe this is on January the 17th. We had a good amount of snowfall going on throughout the state, a good amount of freezing rain going on throughout the state, and now this is what we look like. So just a complete turn of events here for this storm system, but we're just going to continue to have to just dig into it as more models come out, and we're just going to have to continue to wait. I wish I had more information on it, but models are still too inconsistent on it, and they are still not in agreement with each other. So we're going to have to just continue to wait for the more shorter term models to get in and see what they have to say about it as well. But we're still several days out. We are still several days out. So make sure all of your, plans are in place. Make sure, rather if you need to have a generator with you, just in case the power goes out, especially if you're up there inside of the upstate where there's already winter storm watches out right now. But over there, flashlights, generators, anything like that, food that won't go bad, water as well, and also, make sure you have a charged phone as well. I think I didn't mention that yesterday, but I probably should have said that. You know that the storm's coming the next day. Make sure your phone's fully charged for it, just in case the power does go out. Make sure your phone is kept up in charge, so that if something happens, you can use it. Or even if you need a portable charger as well, go on and get yourself one of those. Or if you have one of those jump starters for your car, one of the portable ones that have a little either a cigarette lighter thing on it, or if it has an actual plug to it, either one of them will work. Just go on and make sure that it's good to go, just in case if worse does come to worse. But that's pretty much all I have to say here in terms for this storm system right here. I do want to go in and continue our way forward, because after the storm system, we're still not done. We are still not done. We need to go and take a look at these temperatures right here. We're going to go right here into the 26th. And we have temperatures dipping down all the way into single digits. Yes, you see that correctly right there. You see 2 degrees right over there inside the PD area. You see 2 degrees over here going on over inside of the Midland areas. And so that's around January the 27th here. I mean, you have 0 degrees in northern Alabama. You have -7 in Georgia. You have 3 to 5 degrees up here inside of North Carolina. You have -10 over here inside of Tennessee. You have -9 up there in Virginia, and the entire state, except for the coastal areas, are in the 20s as you wake up going into the 27th. Now, you might be saying, okay, well, nothing too crazy, but there are going to be some spots. There are going to be some spots who do not get above freezing all day. For example, right here on the 27th. The 27th right here, that is Tuesday. Some people might not even get to above freezing on Tuesday, and it's only going to get colder. Like I said, we're going to get back to being below freezing again, and then especially going into around like the 30th, going into the 31st. I mean, look at these temperatures right here, 1 o'clock p.m. going into January the 31st. High temperatures, 27 degrees over there in the low country, 28 near the coast. I mean, just downright frigid cold conditions as we go into next week. And that's going to be a major concern. And I can only just imagine what the weekly temperature forecast is looking like right now is, for the most part, below average. I mean, and I understand why. I understand why with all that cold air that we're going to be getting here. And so if I'm going to zoom this back forward for you, I mean, right here, going into February the 1st. Now, I know this is too far out. It's around a good 10 days out or so now. But, you see 0 degrees, you see 6 degrees, you see 3 degrees, all the way over here. And this is 7 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock p.m., you go back up, for your high temperatures. But it just seems like it's going to be a cold next week and some change. It's just going to be cold. Like, every night's going to be freezing. It's going to be like, even during the daytime, some areas might not even get above freezing. We're going to have some single digits at times, and that's not even including wind chill. That's not even including wind chill at all. If I go on real quick and show you the low temperatures, not for tonight, before if we go into like the next couple of days or so, this is Thursday night right here. Low temperatures for Thursday night going into tomorrow. But look at right here for Monday night. These are our low temperatures right here Monday night. 20s down near the coastal areas. You have single digits up there inside of the upstate. 10 degrees over here inside the Midlands. 14, 18 over there inside of like Moncks Corner. 20 over there. And so like Walterboro. And so, again, like I said, that's without wind chill. That's without wind chill. Another thing you have to look at is these high temperatures. High temperatures on Sunday. Not Monday. That's Saturday. Okay, so I think they must have already gotten rid of it because it's not here anymore. But, anyways. No, here we go, Sunday. Alright, so, I mean, Sunday right here, you see 29 inside of Rock Hill. You see 30 inside of Spartanburg, 32 in Greenville. Those are high temperatures, not low temperatures, high temperatures. But you see the complete distinct contrast from over there inside of the upstate all the way down to like the low country areas. You see 50s, 60s, and then up there inside the very far areas, you see 30s, 20s, all that kind of stuff. And then another thing that I want to check out real quick, and then we'll go on and check in with the audience. This is the actual National Weather Service snowfall rates right here for us, around a good inch or two in terms of snowfall for a good amount of the upstate. 1/10 of an inch to 3/10 of an inch from the Midlands over there inside of the more PD, Grand Strandish areas. But that's around, for the next 3 days, 7 a.m. to Sunday at 7 a.m. That's not even the full storm, so this will either expand or it will reduce, depending on the models. Also, in terms of ice as well, 3-day forecast ice accumulations Thursday, 7 a.m., Sunday, 7 a.m., 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch of ice up there inside of the very far areas, maybe even a bit more, 1/2 an inch to 3/4 of an inch over there inside of the very far upstate. And then 1/100 of an inch to 1/10 of an inch. I mean, even 1/100 of an inch can definitely do a lot. 1/100 of an inch, I mean, I still see cars sliding. I still see, people getting into accidents, not being safe out there on the roadways. So, and this is South Carolina, so things like that, bad drivers, we're not too, I'm trying to think of the word. We're not too keen we're not too keen of them because we know South Carolina. We got some not so great drivers over here inside of the state. So, just keep that in mind. Even though like a 100th of an inch of ice could definitely still do stuff like that. But I think that that's all I have to say here in terms of the forecast. I mean, been about 35 minutes in. So let's go on now and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with Mr. Chris, he says, "Good evening, everyone. Hope you all had a great day and stayed safe." I did. Thank you so much for asking. Maya Lewis says, "Good evening, everyone. I pray that everyone had a blessed day." I did. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Chris says, "Please remember to go and hit the like button and the subscribe button. Also share with everyone that you know. It's free. It helps the channel grow." He's absolutely correct. Right now, we have around a good 32 people that have tuned in and only 14 likes so far. So if you are a part of that group of 18 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. Maya Lewis says, "Today in Georgetown, it was not too bad. Good to hear." And Mr. Chris says, "Was perfect here in Moncks Corner. Started off cloudy, ended up warm and clear." Mr. Anthony says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you." Then my Aunt Shirley says, "Blessings to all. A very nice day here in Raleigh, North Carolina, but looking at what might be an icy or snowy weekend or both." We'll talk about Raleigh, North Carolina in about a couple of minutes. Mr. Chris says currently it's 49 here in Moncks Corner and partly cloudy. Well, right now in my house it says it's around 46 degrees-ish or so it's a bit cooler, My Nana says, "Hello, Jay and all. A nice sunny day today, but time did not allow me to get some of those rays." Well, most likely I actually could have a chance tomorrow because if you're inside the low country, you definitely could get a good amount of rays if that cloud cover permits, like the models say. My Aunt Lewis says, "Then local news reported that it won't be as bad as first reported." Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a bit of a downtrend. Like we were expecting a good amount of snowfall for a good amount of the state, but then now it's just looking like ice, and some people might not even get any sort of winter precipitation. It might just be all rainfall. So like I said, we're still refining those details. But the two models that I showed you, of course, they're just one of one model run, so things can happen, things can change, and so we still just have to continue to wait and see what happens with them as we get closer and closer and they finally start to gain like a median with each other. But things are just too uncertain right now. Things are just too uncertain. Um, we continue our way down. Thad says, "Good evening, Joseph and 360 Weather family." Well, good evening to you. And then he also says, "I trust all is well." It was a beautiful day today here in San Antonio. It was like 68 degrees or so. At my house is around a good 62-ish or so. 62-ish, somewhere around there. My aunt says we were supposed to reach 68 degrees on Friday. And then Ms. Chris says, "According to the news, we're under a state of emergency now." I have not seen that pop up on my phone, which is kind of odd because usually I would see that. I'll go in and look that up in just a second. But I'll go in and look that up and see what I can see there. We continue our way down. That says tonight's looking pretty nice. Temperatures between 56 and 61 degrees. We'll talk about San Antonio. Cheryl says, "Greetings, everyone. Greetings to you." And then also, let's continue our way down some more. That says, "I'm really not looking forward to this cold weather headed our way. I pruned back my passion fruit and plan to put it in the garage tomorrow after the deep watering I gave it today." Well, yeah, you definitely will need it, especially if you get some winter precipitation as well. So definitely need to bring that inside, especially if it's going to get below freezing. Mr. Chris says, "Got some good news. Checked in for how long I've been here, and it seems like I've been here right at 1 year." Well, let's go and give you a round of applause for that. Go and give you a round of applause. Thank you so much for being here for a year, for a complete year. It's not felt like a year, but it is. So I'm going to congratulate you for that. Thank you so much for that. That says, "I'm really looking forward to the total lunar eclipse schedule for the 3rd of March. I knew that there was one coming up. I just wasn't paying attention really to the date. I will get pictures of it. I will get pictures of it. And then also, Mount Lewis says in Georgetown, it's great to know that we're in the 40s. Sent the information for. I can go in and pin that to the top of the chat real quick if anybody wants to know about that total lunar eclipse, or and then even for the future. And then Mr. Chris said I was watching the news and they said that it would take a quarter-inch of ice to stop things from moving. Absolutely. And excuse me, that was my brother calling me. I'll go and text him real quick. That I am currently doing my live stream right now. But yeah, quarter of an inch of ice definitely could stop up stuff. I mean, even 1/100th of an inch of ice could stop up stuff as well. So it really just matters. And for, like I said, experience myself, drivers inside of South Carolina, not quite the best. Not quite the best. But that's all that I have in terms of the chat. If you want to go in and leave something inside of the chat, you can. You can. But you have to be a subscriber of the channel, and if you want to go in and be a part of the top fans, which we'll talk about in just a second, be active as well. But we're going to go in and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, 4 locations, what are you talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go in and talk about their areas for them. And they also show their support. Granted that this area and this channel really isn't about their main areas, being San Antonio, Raleigh, and Philadelphia, and Duncan being South Carolina. And they still show up and show an insane amount of support. So we're going to start off with San Antonio first, with low temperatures tonight at 52, high temperatures tomorrow at around 74, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 60. Precipitation is not expected tonight or tomorrow. Patchy fog is indeed expected as you go into tomorrow. So patchy fog is indeed expected as you go into tomorrow morning. So make sure that you are prepared for that. If you have to go out early, make sure low beams are on. If you have fog lights, if you have a newer car, go ahead and put them on. Or even if you have to also go on and keep that distance back. And also, if you need to go a bit slower than the recommended speed limit, that's also fine if you cannot see. But what about your severe weather? What about your excessive rainfall? Well, right now it looks like in terms of severe weather, nothing really for you. In terms of severe weather, in fact, you don't even have any excessive rainfall either, so you're pretty much good there in terms of those areas. But what about your future? Looks like right now, as always, like we were just talking about, I do think that you will potentially get some winter weather. Like it says, rain/freezing rain is likely as you go into Saturday night, and then Sunday. Freezing rain is kind of like a little slight chance on Sunday morning as well, at a 20% chance. And yes, extreme cold watch. Saturday night you have low temperatures of 22. Sunday 35. Sunday night 19 degrees. And then even as you go into Monday 42, Monday night 22, Tuesday night 33. So you will continue to see extreme cold as you go into this weekend, and especially for that area, it is going to be extremely cold. And so that's it for San Antonio. What about Raleigh, North Carolina? You have low temperatures tonight at around 29. High temperatures tomorrow at around 55. And then low temperatures tomorrow night at around 29. Precipitation not expected at this time. Same thing for tomorrow. And tomorrow night we do in fact have a chance of showers for you over there near Raleigh. Now in terms of severe weather and excessive rainfall, that's not expected at this time. So I wouldn't really worry about anything there. But in terms for your future, looks like that you, for the most part, will see a chance of rain/snow Friday night. Saturday night, you'll see some snow and some sleet on Saturday. Saturday night, it'll be like a wintry mix of snow, freezing rain, kind of like that mix. Sunday, again, wintry mix again. Sunday night, again, another wintry mix again. And it's just going to continue to be just snow mixed with sleet on Saturday. Saturday night, snow, freezing rain. Sunday, freezing rain, sleet. Sunday night, freezing rain, snow, and freezing rain. Just all over the place as you go throughout from Friday night going into Sunday night. So make sure that you're prepared for that as you go throughout this weekend. And then what about Philadelphia? You indeed do have low temperatures tonight at around 33, high temperatures tomorrow at around 46, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at around a good 26. Now, in terms for your precipitation, slight chance of snow tonight, but after that, you're going to be dry until around Saturday night. You'll have low temperatures down in the teens. Your high temperature on Saturday is 19 degrees, so that's something that you're used to. Saturday night, 80% chance of snow. Sunday, you will see snow. Sunday night, 70% chance of snow. And then another chance of snow again on Monday with a high temperature of 25 degrees and a low temperature on Monday night of 8. And then you're still not done. Tuesday night, low temperature of 9 degrees. So it's going to continue just to get colder and colder and colder and colder. And so I definitely would just continue to go on and make sure that I'm prepared not only for the winter weather, but being in Philadelphia, y'all are definitely prepared for that, or just for y'all being so used to it, not like we down here inside of South Carolina. And then finally, the final location being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at around a good 29, high temperatures tomorrow at around 55, and then low temperatures tomorrow night around 29 as well. Precipitation not expected tonight or tomorrow, but tomorrow night there's a chance of showers. Friday, as you go even further into your future, severe weather and excessive rainfall is not expected for you. Wintry mix on Friday night, wintry mix, snow and sleet on Saturday night. Snow showers are likely, and then slight chance of snow showers as well on Sunday. But also something else that should not be taken away from this is also as you go into Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, it's going to be straight freezing. You will not get above freezing temperatures from Friday going all the way through into Monday night. It will be 1, 2, 3, 4 days straight of just freezing temperatures. 4 days straight of freezing temperatures going all the way from Friday all the way into Sunday and Monday. For example, your low temperature on Sunday night is 1 degree. That's it. Sunday night, your low temperature is 1. Saturday night, 4. And then not only that, but Friday night, you also will have wind gusts of up to 30 miles per hour. Same thing Friday. Friday night and Friday both, winds will be gusting at around 30. And that will bring you with some wind chills. That will make it cooler than it actually is. So, you have a low of around 9. But with those wind gusts gusting as high as 30 miles per hour, that will drop it. And so I think that is about all in terms of these 4 areas. So what's going on right now throughout the entire U.S. weather news-wise? Snow showers and snow squalls are likely to develop across the Northeast on Thursday. Lake effect snow will persist downwinds of the Great Lakes, and an Arctic blast will bring frigid temperatures, gusty winds, and dangerous wind chills to the northern plains before expanding to the south and east. A major winter storm will begin impacting the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley on Friday. That we also will see some dense fog as well. Some dense fog over there inside of eastern Arkansas. They'll see that. We have some the potential for even some cold weather over there inside of southern Louisiana. I mean, it'll be down around 12 degrees in terms of wind chills down there, all the way from New Iberia over there into Lake Charles and over there into Alexandria in Louisiana. And then, like we were just talking about San Antonio a bit earlier, extreme cold watch over there in southern Texas. And we also have extreme cold warnings up all the way into like northern Minnesota, where it's going to be so cold that the high temperature will be negative 13 and the low temperature will be negative 36, and some people even as low as negative 50 degrees. Yes, you heard that correctly, negative 50 degrees up there inside of the very far northern parts of Minnesota up there. So a lot of stuff is going on right now throughout the state, and it's about to get cold. It is about to get cold, not throughout pretty much a good amount of the U.S. from the central to the east. While over there in the west, what are they doing over there? They're having some fun in the sun. Now they have some, some rainfall over there for the most part. But they're going to be warm while we over here, we're going to be having our life-threatening chilliness and all that kind of stuff over here. And I think that that's all I can see here in terms for the entire U.S. So let me go and check out the chat one more time. We did get an email. I did get an email. Let me go and check that out real quick. I got 2 emails, I believe so. If you want to go in and send me an email, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. The first one was from Thad, who said these bell peppers are out and are still growing. Let me go and show that to you right now. Here's the first one, and he shows us the temperature. It's around a good 66, 68-ish degrees or so over here, over there inside of San Antonio. And then even as you go into Mr. Percy sent me a email talking about the state of emergency thing. I did find it. I think it is over here where it pretty much just displays that the winter storm is expected to impact the state beginning Saturday and continue through the weekend. Well, the governor has declared a state of emergency as an ice storm threatens part of the state this weekend. Allowing state agencies to quickly mobilize resources, allows the state National Guard to activate personnel and prepare equipment for deployment, and allows state and local emergency management officials to begin coordinating response efforts. So yes, there is a state of emergency right now for the state of South Carolina right now. So thank you, Mr. Chris, for that, and thank you, Thad, for the picture. Again, if you want to go on and send me a picture, you can by sending it to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. But I've talked enough. Make sure if you have not hit the like button yet, go in and do so. Also, make sure that you go in and hit the subscribe button if you're new. Right now, we're at 668, trying to get to that main goal of 732 away from that main goal. And then after that, I think that is about all that I have to really say for tonight. Top fans of the night for tonight. Mr. Chris is back at that number 1 spot. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Thad was at number 2. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. Thad was at number 2. And then my Aunt Lulu was at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans of the night for tonight. As I said earlier, if you want to be part of the top fans, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And also, being here early. And obviously, you have to be a subscriber. But that's all. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Thursday morning forecast update. And we'll be back here same time, 9 o'clock p.m. with your Thursday evening forecast update talking about the snow risk as well. And I think that is about all that I can see. Yeah, it's already 10 o'clock. I was here for incredibly too long of a time tonight. Here incredibly too long. So I'm going to let everybody go. And make sure that you be back here tomorrow evening again for your Thursday evening forecast update. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday.